Hi, and welcome to Terribly Fun Films, and today we're doing Bobby Babbles, for those of you unfamiliar with. The Bobby Babbles series is where I discuss any movie that doesn't fit properly within what I usually review. 99% of the time, these will be new theatrically released films, and this is just a way of me espousing my thoughts on them. If you're friends with me on Facebook, you've already seen my shortened thoughts on the movie we're discussing today. That movie is Disney's new live-action remake of Beauty and the Beast. So to put this in proper context, we're going to back up a little bit. This trend of Disney's to remake their live-action films started off with their Alice in Wonderland movie, the Tim Burton live-action one, and I hate that film. It's not very good. It was, however, a massive, massive success. After that was Maleficent, which I also hated quite a bit. I thought the acting was bad. It was awkwardly written. It didn't make a ton of sense. Whatever. Then they released Cinderella, directed by Kenneth Branagh, and that film is a masterpiece. Wonderful, delightful, brilliant film. Then, just last year, they released The Jungle Book, directed by Jon Favreau, and judging by its box office and home video sales, you've probably already seen it and know it is the absolute definitive film version of that story ever put to screen. It's better than any other live-action version, including the one with Sabu. It is better than any other animated version, including Disney's original classic. It is a bold, striking rendition of that story. So, what do I think of the Disney animated film from 1991? It's perfect. It's amazing. It holds up remarkably well. The songs are great. The voice acting is stunning. The visuals for the CGI and stuff, when it is used, still look fantastic. And it's one of the greatest animated movies of all time. So yeah, this live action film has a lot to live up to. How's it fare? Not so well. It's not unwatchable. It's not hateable per se. Let's divide this up. Positives, then negatives. Alright, so first positive is one of the things I was most excited about for the film, and that's Luke Evans as Gaston. I love Luke Evans. Luke Evans is a great actor. He's very good looking. He's very charismatic, and he seems like he'd just be a really cool, fun guy to hang out with. And as Gaston, he does not disappoint. He is great, and he's menacing and funny, and he makes that role work, even when there are some issues with the way it's written, and we'll get to those issues when we hit the negative side of things. Really liked his performance. This big, kind of operatic performance in a way, and it totally works for the character. Also, Josh Gad as LaFoy really steals the show as well. He and Luke Evans play off of each other perfectly. I kind of wish the movie were about them, because they're way more interesting than anything else going on. And that is, again, mostly due to the two actors just being great in these roles versus most of the writing. Although, the movie does a lot of really interesting stuff with LaFoy, and I won't ruin anything if you haven't seen it yet. That easily makes him the most engaging, relatable character in the entire movie. So, the writing for that character, totally spot on. The acting for that character, totally spot on. Comedic timing of that character, totally spot on. I liked Emma Watson as Belle. She's not perfect. Like, maybe there is somebody else out there who could have done this role better. But she's not bad in the film either. She's good. She sings perfectly fine. She does get a lot of the comedic timing stuff, especially with the can you imagine me, Gaston, his little wife? That moment, she really brings a bit of sassiness and humor to it that is not found in the original original version. In the original version, it's much more put upon and annoying, which is works fine for that film. I'm not complaining about that. I really liked Kevin Kline as Maurice. Their relationship is fleshed out a little bit more, and that makes her sacrifice mean a bit more in the grand scheme of things. But as we'll get to, the movie squanders that as well. The original Lumiere, Jerry Orbach, is dead. That is sad. And they replaced him with Ewan McGregor, who's really good. He brings a lot of energy and verve to the role, and it works so well that you can tell it's somebody else, but it is a new spin on the character that does work. I like Dan Stevens as the Beast. He performance captured the creature, and he plays the prince, and he voice acts the creature as well. And I think he does a good job. He doesn't come off as that scary all too often, outside of how he looks in terms of his voice and whatnot. His roar isn't that strong, but again, we'll get more into that later. With that being said, he and Emma Watson work well off of each other. The CGI and special effects and all that stuff used to bring him to life is remarkable. And the set design for the castle is really cool. They do some neat stuff with it, especially when each rose petal falls. That I really appreciated. And all of the songs from the original film are at least done okay to really, really good. The Gaston song, "Everybody Wants to Be You with Gaston, Even When Taking Your Lumps," that song is probably the best rendition of all the new songs, of all the songs from the old film in this new movie. They tweak some things that make it a little more amusing, like instead of everybody's naturally going along and adoring Gaston, LaFoy is now bribing everybody in the tavern to join them, to join him in this song praising Gaston. And Gaston doesn't notice, and it's hilarious. But again, this goes back to those two being the best thing about the film. That is really kind of it for positives. Not a lot, sadly. Moving on to the negatives. I'll go in as chronological order in terms of my issues with the movie as it plays out as possible. I've only seen it once though, so it might not be 100% in order. To start off with, the prologue in this film is dreadful. The prologue in the animated film is very simple. It's like 2 minutes, and it's just a voiceover explaining how the beast got cursed, and then we move on with our lives. This tells us that the prince was spoiled and opulent, and through lavish parties that cost the people tons of money. And we see those parties, and he's wearing stupid makeup. Oh my god, the makeup on the prince during this opening party dance number is so utterly stupid and idiotic looking. The color scheme doesn't work. The shapes that they're forming on his face don't work. It doesn't make sense in context as to why he'd be putting on this kind of makeup. Everything about it is fucking stupid. During one of these extravagant, stupid balls that I guess is for him to choose somebody to bed? It's not explicitly stated, but that's definitely sort of the creepy ass vibe going on there. The enchantress comes in, begging for a place to stay from a storm that's happening, and the prince sends her away twice, and so he's cursed. And if it were just some dumb makeup and within context, not having what's going on with the dance, why it's being filmed, that sort of thing, fully explained to me, I wouldn't hate this prologue. I would think it's maybe unnecessary, but I wouldn't hate it. What makes it hateable is its editing. Its editing is awful. It's weird. We'll go from a medium wide shot to close up of the eyes to a different wide shot of everybody dancing, to it doesn't work, there's no rhythm to be found. There's a character on the piano, played by Stanley Tucci, I believe, is the maestro, and then his wife is singing, and that song fucking sucks. It's a fucking disaster, that song. It doesn't match the tempo of them dancing, nor does it match the tempo or the rising action of the Enchantress coming in and cursing everybody. It's terribly done. It's awkward, and as soon as that prologue began, I was fucking scared for my life that we were going to get another Alice in Wonderland, which when I saw with my friend who had just gotten back from a trip in Mexico, we left about 30 minutes in to go get dinner and catch up because we didn't care for that film at all. I have since finished that movie, and it's not good, but that's a different story. So then we start with Belle walking out of her house, little town full of little people waking up to say yada yada yada, and it highlights a weird problem with this film. Two weird problems with this film. A, the costumes. Oh, positives. I don't like most 95% of all these costumes suck, but there are some exceptions. The Beast's costumes continually look great, especially his ballroom costume. It's very clear it is taken from the animated film, but they tweaked it to make it work in live action, and it's really great. It looks like something he would actually wear, and that sort of thing. Okay, so one costume. So 99% of all the costumes suck. The costumes in this film look like costumes. The wardrobe for every character that isn't the Beast / Prince looks like costumes. Here's what I mean by this. I'm going to refer back to a review I've already done for the same story. Sci-Fi Channel made a Beauty and the Beast film called Beauty and the Beast: A Dark Tale. It was one of my first video reviews. It's not that well in terms of its style and format and all that stuff. But still, you can go back and watch it. I'll leave a link in the description below. Its costumes look like costumes. They don't look 100% believable. They don't look dirty enough. They don't look torn enough. They don't look lived in enough to have that knot right off of an assembly line of people making them feel. And that's what I mean here. So why do I let the Sci-Fi Channel version of this story get away with it and not the Disney movie? Because the Sci-Fi Channel movie is lucky if it had $2 million to its budget. The Disney movie reportedly cost upwards of $125 million before marketing. And it's already cleared that hurdle. It's made all its money back already, so don't worry, it's a success. But I'll be generous and say $120 million before marketing is how much this budget was. Take out $2 million. So we're looking at a difference of $118 million. If you're not grasping the size difference when making a movie, I will put it into terms that you could understand. $118 million could be put into one town, like where I live, to redo all the roads and still have money left over for something else. You can completely revamp and redo the infrastructure of the place I live with that money and still have some money left over. One gets a pass because it can't do that. One doesn't get a pass because they were too lazy to do anything else. The costumes look like costumes. They're awkward and they're unbelievable. Then there's a weird problem throughout this song where Belle's in a dress, and when she walks out, her dress is hiked up. The skirt is hiked up here, so we can see her leggings and whatnot, which is making it easier for her to walk. And that's not a problem. But during the course of the song, there's a point where the skirt's now down, and it's no longer covering that. And I thought, oh, okay, so the song is about her sort of having her head in the clouds and being a bit spacey. You know, in her own world, she doesn't fit in with people in the town. you've seen the animated movie at least. I know you know what I'm talking about. So I was on board with this because, oh, this will be one of the visual ways of showing that she's not here. She's not present. She's reading, she's thinking about something else, yada yada. No, it's just meant to be, I think it's meant to be for her to be easier to walk, but with the way editing works and the way you tell action in a film, it makes it look like it's continuity errors when there's another sequence where she's jumping over some rocks over a small like pond or creek or something, and it's back up here as opposed to being back on the floor, and we never see her tuck it in, we never see her untuck it, and that's a problem. The editing throughout the film is fucking atrocious. It never reaches the fuck you bad during the prologue again, but it is consistently god-awful. I will be surprised if I see a big budget, theatrically released film this year with worse editing. That's how bad the editing is throughout this entire film. Yeah, the costumes all look fake. They look like somebody just sewed them and put them on our actors, as opposed to things these people would live in. It doesn't work. So, of course, Maurice goes off to the market in this case, not an Vinters Fair, but still close enough. It's captured by the beast. Philippe comes and finds Belle. She goes in her dad's place. I don't like the wardrobe. I don't like the look of the wardrobe. I think the way they make it talk is creepy. What they do with its eyes is creepy. It's fucking creepy. I don't like the wardrobe in her room in the castle. It's weird, it's awkward, I don't like it. I also really don't care. Let me think. Every scene in this film feels sort of rushed to hit the next plot point that the animated movie got to first. It's really awkward. Nothing feels like it has time to breathe or time to explore its own original avenues because it's so busy fast forwarding through everything so we can get to the points everybody wants to see. Ballroom scene, things like that. So the movie doesn't feel organic and it does not flow naturally, which is probably where some of the issues I have with the editing come from. It does not work. It's really awkward. With that being said, other issues. There are new songs. There's a new song that Maurice sings early in the beginning that's perfectly okay. It's like less than a minute long, and it's just him kind of singing to himself while he's working. Only good new songs. The other new songs, which includes Days in the Sun, correct me if that's not the title, but if you've seen the film, you'll at least get what song I'm talking about. The Changed Feeling in Me. Again, I don't know the name of the song. If you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. The Bells leaving Beast song, so Beast is singing his version of, as my friend called it, the Phantom of the Opera song. These songs suck. These songs are piss fucking poor. Especially Days in the Sun. Days in the Sun is a god-awful mess of a song. It doesn't work. Its flashback sequences doesn't work. It's a fucking terrible. It's terribly made. It's terribly constructed. And I hate it. The I Feel a Change in Me song I forgot existed. So I was talking about it with my wife as we were driving back from the film. She also didn't like it. Neither did the other person that we saw the film with. If this tells you anything. And, yeah, so that song was instantly forgettable. And the Belle Leaves Beast song, so he's discussing how she'll never leave him because she's, like, torn apart his soul. That song's, as the two people I saw with, my wife and my friend Julia, it's creepy as fuck, as they put it. I didn't view it as creepy. As the song was going on, I thought it was sort of mundane and awkward, and it felt like, oh, this is where the big moment will be, yeah, type of deal. But I can see where they're coming from with that. So yeah, new songs don't work. Emma Thompson replaces Angela Lansbury as Mrs. Potts, and she's terrible. Emma Thompson, who's a great actress, in this case, sounds like she's doing a bad Angela Lansbury impersonation. throughout the entire film. And it doesn't work. At all. Ian McKellen plays Cogsworth, and I didn't realize it was him until the very end when they're all human again, because he's so damn boring. He's so boring. He brings nothing to the role. There's still the mirror that lets you see people, but there's also a book that allows you to travel anywhere. Think about it, and you can be there. And I was very excited to see how this would pay off in the film. They use it to revisit her childhood home where her mom died. She gets something from that childhood home which never comes back into play. And it's never used again. If you're thinking one of the ways that she would be in such desperate need to go save her dad closer to the end of the film was to use the book to get to the village quicker than riding her damn horse, you'd be wrong, but you'd also have more brain cells than this fucking film has. They never bring this book back into play. Ever. It's fucking disgraceful and stupid. Why introduce this element if you're not going to pay it off, which really sums up the film. The film is in such a rush to just do what the animated movie did, only in live action, that any new elements are not paid off, and it's fucking bullshit. And it sucks. Cinematography throughout the film, really, really bad. We consistently, like, a lot of our scene transitions are we travel up to the sky, come backwards, and come back down in a different place. It happens like 5 or 6 times in the movie, and that's too many times. It feels like I don't have any other idea how to do this, so that's what we're doing. It's fucking obnoxious and annoying. And the whole film feels every single aspect of it, except for like one, feels like a stage play. It's the way the musical numbers are filmed, the way they are presented, the way the cinematography and the choreography and everything is blocked off from the camera feels stagey. The joke at the end, everyone's human again. So there's the wedding sequence, they're dancing, and as they're dancing, Belle asks the prince if he would mind growing a beard, and he does a growl. If you laughed at this, you're probably 5, shouldn't be watching this video, and I feel bad for you. That joke is terrible. That joke fucking sucks. That joke is god-awful. Fuck that joke hard. It ruins the emotional catharsis of that scene. I wasn't, like, it's the end of the fucking film. I'm already out of it. I don't fucking care about what's going on. But for people who were invested, even I can't see them liking this joke. I can't imagine anyone liking that joke. It's that fucking bad. Jeez, other issues. Oh, okay. Characterizations for Gaston and Lafoy. So there is a bit more time spent on Gaston being a returning war hero in this film. It's mentioned in the animated film, but it's very much just that's who he was, now he owns this tavern. Here, it's much like a lot of his scenes, he's sort of like, it's almost like he's trapped in the war, but he wants to be, so I hesitate to call it PTSD. That's not what it is. His happy place is explosions and bullets and widows, which is admittedly very funny. But they turn the character to such an evil character for no discernible reason. He's just evil to be evil now. That it doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. It's real awkward, is what I'm saying. He punches Maurice out and ties him to a tree to leave to the wolves because Maurice told him he'll never marry Belle. I get that Gaston's supposed to be evil, but he's meant to be kind of an oblivious doofus until the end of the film. But, okay, fanboy complaint. Fair enough. But even in this film, it doesn't work. Maurice is found, saved, and gets back to the village before Gaston and Lafoy does. And when Maurice tells him, hey, you tried to be up to a tree, no one believes Maurice because he was ranting about a beast earlier. So it was pointless and awkward, which meant you had the character be evil just to be evil when it doesn't work. The singing is not bad. The acting, good for the most part. The CGI, good for the most part. But it is, even with the things they changed, such a rehash of the original animated film that it's totally pointless. A different friend of mine likened it to Gus Van Sant's almost shot-for-shot remake of Psycho. And he's not wrong there. This film and Psycho, Van Sant's remake, are so devoted to the originals that they don't do their own thing, which makes them not only pointless, but they don't even do their thing well enough to warrant existing. One gets utterly shit upon, and this one's a massive success with critical praise that I'm not totally understanding. It's a waste of your time. Watch the Disney animated film. It's so much better. Watch the 1940 black and white Cousteau film. It's infinitely better. Watch the Sci-Fi Channel original movie. It's better. This is a film that barely has a reason to exist. Don't see it. See the animated movie. It's way better. It holds up perfectly well. I promise you that. Screw this film.